Welcome to the Here's My Story channel. I'm Mateo. Lately, my dad has been having a hard time paying our bills. I started working part-time at a grocery store to contribute to the family finances. One day, as I was on my way home from work, I got a phone call. The person at the other end of the line said, "I'm so sorry to disturb you at this hour. I'm an attorney, and I represent your paternal grandfather." My grandfather had left when my dad was little. They never saw each other again. My family never talks about my grandfather because my dad's still mad at him. "Is it possible for you to come to my office tomorrow morning at 8? I need to talk to you about something important. It's imperative you don't tell your parents about this." I thought about the phone call all night. I had a hard time deciding what to do. I was scared of my dad finding out, but I was too curious. Having given it a lot of thought, I went to the address the attorney provided me. Two attorneys showed me into a big meeting room. The younger of the two was clean-cut. The older one was the attorney who called me. "Thank you for coming. Your grandfather had hoped to meet you in person, but because of the agreement he made with your father, he couldn't get in touch with you directly," he said. "What kind of agreement? My grandfather hasn't even seen him since my dad was a little kid," I said in surprise. 6 years ago, your father and grandfather met in this very room. That day was the first time they'd seen each other in a very long time. Unfortunately, your dad refused to forgive his father. "I came here to tell you to stay away from my family and me," your dad told him. Your grandfather was guilt-ridden, so he accepted your father's request to keep from causing more harm. "So why does my grandfather want to see me despite their agreement?" I asked. "You'll find out very soon," he replied. The second attorney turned on the computer. An old man in a hospital bed appeared on the screen. "Hey, Mateo, I'm your grandfather. If you're watching this video, it means that I'm no longer alive. I would have liked to get to know you, but I couldn't break the promise I made to your father. I always regretted missing out on watching you grow up or playing games with you. So, I've prepared a little game you can play after my passing." Meanwhile, the attorney's assistant put a large briefcase on the table. "There's $1 million in that briefcase. If you can spend that money in 24 hours, then my entire fortune, which amounts to $100 million, will be yours. Refuse or spend a penny less, and my attorneys will donate the money to charity. It's your choice." The assistant opened the briefcase. Sure enough, it was full of money. "Here are the rules, Mateo. You can't buy a house, a car, or a business. You must get a receipt for every purchase you make. You can't gift or donate it to anyone. You can only spend it on yourself. Plus, you can't use your phone or go online for 24 hours. Finally, keep this little game of ours a secret. Of course, it's not going to be easy deciding how to spend $1 million in such a short time. But if you succeed, you will have learned to be smart about your spending by the time you receive your entire inheritance. That's the whole point of the game. Goodbye, my dear grandson." The attorney got up. "Your grandfather left it to us to determine when your 24 hours start. It's 8:30 a.m. now. The game begins in 30 minutes at exactly 9 a.m. "What? How am I supposed to spend the money today? Why?" "Because you're not supposed to prepare. It all needs to be spontaneous," the older attorney replied. Sorry, I forgot again. Justin will accompany you. He will deal with all the payments and collect all the receipts for you." In half an hour, I was out with Justin. As we walked, I thought carefully about how I could spend the money. I saw a car rental company right in front of me at that moment. Of course, I wasn't allowed to buy a car, but I could rent whatever I wanted. I ran into their office. "Do you have a private car service?" I asked the lady at the desk. "What's the most expensive car you have? Do you have a Ferrari?" "We don't have a Ferrari," she said in surprise, "but we do have a Rolls-Royce." "How much?" $7,000 per day, she answered. Justin took out the $7,000 from the briefcase and said, "Here's your money. May we have a receipt, please?" My first purchase. Only $993,000 left to go. We immediately hopped in the Rolls-Royce. "Your destination, sir?" the driver asked. A light bulb went off in my head. "Take us to the most expensive hotel in the city. Please." We got out and headed straight to the hotel reception desk. "We'll take the most expensive room you have." The receptionist didn't take me seriously. "Our royal suite is very, very expensive, young man. May I suggest a more affordable room option? Though I doubt you could even afford a deposit." What was with this guy's attitude? "We want the royal suite. Just tell me what the rate is," I demanded. With a condescending look on his face, the man replied, $125,000 per night, plus deposit and room service fees. Justin took out the money and put it on the desk. Your cooperation is appreciated. I'll take the receipt, please. The guy was shocked. We will prepare your room immediately, sir. It was almost 11 a.m. I was so nervous that I started sweating. I had $868,000 left to spend. As we entered the royal suite, I was amazed. So this is the high life. This isn't a hotel room, it's a small palace, I shouted. What else cost this much? I had to stop myself from reaching for my phone. Instead, I turned to Justin. I wish I could just search online. These are your grandfather's rules, Justin responded. I'm not allowed to give you any hints either. I've got it, I said, snapping my fingers. Let's go for a fancy meal. Our driver took us to the most expensive restaurant in the city. I ordered one of everything on the menu, hoping to spend as much as possible. Each appetizer and main dish looked really cool, but I can't say I liked the taste of any of them. That was until the desserts arrived. The centerpiece was a colossal sundae covered in more than 10 grams of edible gold. It alone cost $44,000, one of the top 10 most expensive desserts in the world. The clock was ticking, and I had $798,000 I needed to spend in the next 20 hours. The worst part was, I had absolutely no idea where to go from there. Of course, there were many places where I could spend the money. I could go to a spa, get a massage, or even rent a yacht or a plane, but the paperwork alone would take hours. I had to think of a place to spend all of the remaining money at once. As we continued cruising the city in our rental car, I saw a sign that said, New York Lottery. Just then, I had a fantastic idea. I could just buy scratch-off cards with all the money. I asked the driver, can you pull over to the right side? We need to get off here. I turned and smiled confidently at Justin. Get the rest of the money. We're spending it all. Justin looked around. Really? Where can we do that? He asked. You'll see, I replied. When we approached the lottery entrance, Justin knew what I was about to do. Very interesting. However, you'll need to spend all of your winnings within the time limit as well. You realize that, right? He asked. I know. I'll win some money from the scratch-off cards, but I'll just buy more scratch-off cards with my winnings. I have to run out of money at some point, I replied. Who's the owner of this place? I inquired. 5 people were working there. An older gentleman stepped up from behind the counter. Right here. I want to buy $798,000 worth of scratch-off cards, I said. They all burst out in coarse laughter. Son, find some other business to play around with. We're too busy to entertain you. The boss cackled gruffly. Justin put the briefcase on the desk, opened it, and showed them the money. Their jaws dropped in stunned silence. But I have a request, I said, leaning over the counter. We need to scratch off all the cards I buy, right here, right now. I'll pay each of you $10,000 to close for the day and help me. Deal? The boss showed me the boxes filled with scratch-off tickets. $10,000 each? Whatever you say, but it'll take us quite a bit of time to scratch off all of them. Everyone except Justin got to work scratching the tickets. No one said a word. Only the gentle scratching sounds filled the room. Occasionally, someone would break the silence with, I got $500, or got $5,000 here. Before I knew it, midnight came. We were running out of tickets to scratch. Up to that point, we had won $85,000, which I used to buy more scratch-off cards. I was so close to beating my grandfather's game. Before long, I'd be back at the royal suite, sleeping like a baby. I'd show up at the attorney's office at 9 a.m. sharp, and just like that, I'd inherit my grandfather's $100 million fortune. Suddenly, I heard the lotto boss scream as I was deep in thought. No way! This is the biggest prize anybody's ever won in my store! $1 million! You won $1 million, son! My heart sank at the worst news I had ever gotten in my entire life. I was back to square one. I had $1 million again. I had bought out the store's entire stock of cards, even the reserves in the back room. There were none left, and I didn't have time to scratch them all off. Besides, I couldn't risk winning another grand prize. What was I going to do? Where could I possibly spend all that money with less than 9 hours on the clock? In my desperation, I slumped down in the corner of the store. Even Justin looked at me with sad, concerned eyes. Thankfully, New York is the city that never sleeps. I wasn't about to give up just yet. But that's best saved for part 2. Can I manage to spend it all in one night? You'll find out the answer to that question next week.